I'm addressing this video to pastors. I've recorded another video for teachers and one for parents, but this is the one for pastors. Now, on the Interview Games site over here, there is a button that says Ask Dr. Overman. If you click that button, it will take you to this page. Now, this tool was created to answer one basic question: how does blank connect with the biblical worldview? More specifically, how does blank connect with the biblical view of God, creation, humanity, moral order, and purpose? Now, the tool will not create a sermon for you. That's your job. And if you ask Dr. Overman to create a sermon for you, you will get a polite decline. So rather than asking Dr. Overman to create a sermon, say on the topic of forgiveness, you upload your sermon notes, which you've already prepared, and then frame your question by using the default text in the text box that's down here for teachers and pastors. It is by default arranged for teachers, but it's easy to fill in the blanks as a pastor would. For example, let me fill this in for you. It says, Dr. Overman, my sermon is on the topic of forgiveness. Okay? You don't need to say anything about your students being in such and such a grade. You just delete that, and then you say, I'm uploading my lesson plan using the add files function below. Change lesson plan to sermon notes. Okay. Please evaluate my sermon notes. It's easy. It's important to do this. So the sermon notes with respect to how I am making connections with the bigger picture of a biblical worldview. Let me know how I can make stronger, more direct, and memorable connections with the biblical view of God, creation, humanity, moral order, and purpose. Okay, now we need to go down to the bottom of the page here to add your sermon notes. Now, the sermon notes can be a Word document or they can be in PDF. All right, that will take me to where my documents are. Let's see if I can find this sermon on the power of forgiveness somewhere in here. Okay, sermon on the power of forgiveness. I'm going to put that in there. Okay, so that is in there with my question. So I click this little paper airplane here and give it, it usually takes less than 10 seconds. That was pretty good. Now I have my choice here. I can either click read aloud, and that will play for me an audio playback of the suggestions. But I usually don't use that option because oftentimes actually the suggestions can be 3 or 4 pages long. They're fairly thorough, and that's good. So I like to use this one, copy as text and paste. If I click that, then I go to an open empty Word document. I can right click and then paste it in there. That works well. And sometimes I send it as an email, either to myself or someone else. I can do that pretty easily by clicking this option. Then when I'm through, I just click clear. Now, if I have a follow-up question, and I do encourage you to ask follow-up questions, I use this tool down here, and here is where my consultation on the sermon on the topic of forgiveness was stored. And if I open that up, you can see that I can continue the consultation if I want to. Let's say I want to. I have some follow-up questions. So I click that, I go up here and I type in my follow-up question. Now, if you want to speak my follow-up question, I can go down here to the microphone, and then I have to click Start Recording. Then I record my follow-up question, and then end recording. And everything I said is recorded here. Then I record my follow-up question, then end recording. Okay, now I'm ready to either hear what the follow-up answer is, or, and I prefer to just copy the text and paste it so I can study it, or send it as an email, and then when I'm through I can clear it. Now, if I go down to the bottom and I want to hear or read the entire conversation from start to finish, from my first question to my follow-up question to my next follow-up question, I can copy and paste the full text here. If I click that and then I go to a Word document, right-click, it'll paste it in there. So I have it all in one place, and it's pretty nifty. It's very, very helpful to do that. Now, I want to also add here that the tool isn't just for getting advice on sermon notes. You can actually type in here and ask for an analysis of all kinds of things that relate to the biblical worldview. For example, just recently, I was curious to know about a certain law that went into effect in Washington State. Or it was signed actually on March 30th, goes into effect in a couple of years from now, but it's called the millionaire tax. And basically it's a law that allows the state to take out more money from millionaires than from other people. And so I was curious to see what the Ask Dr. Overman tool would say about that. And I'm going to record the actual question that I asked Dr. Overman. And before I sent the answer in, or the question in, I actually went to the Washington State legislative website and I found a copy of the law as a PDF file, and I uploaded that into this question. Here was the question. Dr. Overman, the general topic on my mind is taxes. My specific question is about the new Washington State tax on millionaires. I am uploading Senate Bill 6346 for you to review. Please tell me how this matter connects with the bigger picture of the biblical worldview and how it specifically relates to the biblical view of God, creation, humanity, moral order, and purpose. So I'm going to end my recording, and then I can see my question up there. Then I click here to give it some time to prepare an answer. I can either hear it or copy and paste it to a Word document or send it as an email. And then when I'm through, I can clear it. So there are a lot of functions here for the tool besides sermon preparation. And I do pray the Lord's blessing on you. If you use this tool, may it be used for His glory. Then finally, I would like you to explore the UniView game. This is a game that was actually created primarily for 5th through 8th graders, although it's enjoyable by adults and high school kids as well. But we created it for the upper elementary and middle school because we feel that getting biblical worldview truth into the heads of young people before they get into high school is really, really important. There's a window of opportunity there that we need not pass up. And I do think that the church and the home are the best places to do that sort of mind shaping, although Christian schools do it as well. But I encourage you to try the UniView game with your kids or your grandkids. So I hope that you will use this tool to its fullest, and the game can be used by children's pastors for upper elementary or middle school students. God bless you.